My name is Holly Waker. I go to the Billericay School Sixth Form. The name of my film is The Getaway. The genre of my film is a thriller. The age certificate for my film is an 18. I feel this certificate is appropriate as my film consists of references concerning sex trafficking. During my research and planning stage, I use a variety of multimedia platforms. For example, I use YouTube. This enabled me to access different opening sequences. YouTube further benefited me as it helped me identify the conventions in sequence. An example of a convention identified was the order of titles. The order of titles appropriate for my film is the following: the production company, the distribution company, the title of my film, the cinematography, costume design and the actors. In addition, the directors and music. This is the conventional order. I then used Tumblr to record a log of my progress when I was creating my opening sequence. My Tumblr consists of all the aspects of my opening sequence construction, both improvements and outtakes. The blog also consists of opening sequence analysis and details concerning technical detail about my opening sequence. This involves an explanation for the purpose of each shot. For my planning, I created a pitch which summarised my initial film. This helped me to crystallise my thoughts into a vision. I then test filmed using a Panasonic digital camera with my cast. However, throughout the construction process, I altered my narrative due to the unavailability of characters. As a result of this, I recast my actors. This is highlighted in a specific Tumblr post. I also used the iPhone camera to film character profiles. I then uploaded them into my blog. The use of video made my character profiles more interesting. It also varied my Tumblr posts. This helped me show why I chose the characters I did. It also highlighted they were ideal for each character's representation. When I was constructing my opening sequence, I used specific equipment to ensure the quality of my film was high. I used a tripod to make sure my camera was balanced. This made my filming more focused. In addition, I used a voice recorder to record my dialogue for my opening sequence. This made the sound within the opening sequence clear and made it easier for the audience to understand. Moreover, I used props to ensure verisimilitude was present in my opening sequence. The specific props used were an iPhone, a backpack, a perfume bottle, a hairbrush and a snow globe, as well as a newspaper stand with some text on it. These were successful as my opening sequence looked realistic and natural. The props used also reflected on the protagonist. An example of a specific prop used which did this was a photo frame, as this highlighted to the audience the protagonist could care a lot about her friends and family. Moreover, as a result of the use of the newspaper stand, it created enigma codes and could be a referential code reflecting the further events which are yet to unfold within the film. Throughout the process of creating my film, I learnt two main types of areas within the film industry. These specific areas are macro and micro elements, which are considered when a film is being created. I have learned that the micro elements within the film industry are very important. The specific technology used can contribute to the production of the film. A professional piece of work could be created if the correct technology is used in the correct way. Throughout each process, the micro elements should be considered. In addition, I have also learnt that the overall film could be affected due to the quality of camera. This should be considered when a film is being created. Also, the editing software would have an impact on the film. I learnt how to operate Final Cut Express. This is a specific software I use to edit my film. This was an important element within the editing process to consider. Moreover, special effects, sound effects, saturation and lighting should also be taken into account. If the footage is edited in a specific way which does not complement the camera shot, it could affect the overall film. Despite having the knowledge of the micro elements, I have also learned the technical basics of filming. I learned that I had to take into account the composition and camera shots, and I had to come to a conclusion as to whether each specific camera shot was appropriate for what I wanted to portray within the film. Moreover, I also learnt the continuity editing within a film was important and had to look realistic in order to be successful. Specific editing techniques such as match on action and shot reverse shot were highlighted when learning this. Moreover, I acknowledged that the synchronicity of sound and the image was very important. If this wasn't taken into account, the film could lack understanding and the narrative could become blurred. More theoretical concepts such as the narrative, the representation, the audience and the genre construction created the significant amount of the film. The representation of the protagonist had to be analysed to ensure the protagonist was being portrayed in a specific way. I used the mise-en-scène costume codes to contribute to the overall representations of the protagonist. I also had to apply conventions which would satisfy my target audience. I did this by researching and analysing thriller films and summarised the common aspects used. I also learnt how to transfer music and dialogue from one platform to another. I used dialogue from a royalty-free website and transferred it to Final Cut Express. The macro elements. The macro elements are also important when you are devising a film. I learnt how to use Vimeo and various multimedia platforms which could be used for technological convergence. Other sources of media such as YouTube were used to upload my opening sequence and research thriller films. As highlighted previously, Tumblr was used to help me construct my overall sequence. I also learned through the side-by-side documentary Democratization has altered the film industry dramatically. Due to the accessibility of cameras and various technical software, it has become easier to create films. Although people are able to create films as a result of this, the films may not be successful. In order to create a successful film, the knowledge and excellence of film industry should be considered. Due to cameras now on phones and computers, it is easy to distribute them onto multimedia platforms such as Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. These could also be used to promote a film. An example of democratization would be short films. This is because they now have a platform to distribute their films.